We actually done it. We done it. I want to come up with some cool, entertaining intro or something, but I got nothing. We won the FA Cup final. That is all that matters after the long slog of a season. By the way, shout out you guys for sticking by the channel, but also the club during that period. It's been a long season, but what a way to end it with a 2-1 win over Manchester City, but a deserved win. Yes, a questionable style of football at times, right? But I genuinely feel that we deserve to win that game, and Erik ten Hag deserved to win that game. The players deserved to win that game. I thought the tactics were nearly perfect, and the execution from the players was simply phenomenal. We've got to get straight into it. Of course, the focus is going to be initially on City in possession, right? It has to be. They had a ridiculous amount of the ball, as we can see. They had a lot of possession in this game, but United done a very good job of making sure that that possession counted for nothing. Defensively, this is one of the best performances I've seen against City this season. I thought we were absolutely superb. And it's because, again, tactically, we got it spot on for so much of this game. So, like I said, we'll start with when City have got it in deep areas. Ortega, Stones, Ake, it doesn't matter who it is. United are smart. We don't press them. We don't try and nick the ball in these areas over here. We let them play from the back. Instead, we kind of collapse, if you like, into more of a 4-2-3-1 shape. Getting players behind the ball. Let's swap these two over. Getting players behind the ball and making sure that there are no gaps. No gaps in our side. None of these big open midfield, vertically, horizontally, very compact, very close to each other. And I said the important thing there as well, horizontally. Our wingers weren't wide. We were together as a unit. We were very central in the pitch. Very central in these areas, letting City have the ball. Now from here, City adopted a formation in the first half, which sort of resembled a 2-3 at times. You would have the two centre-backs on the ball. Kyle Walker would kind of step just in front of them, and then we'd have Rodri and Kovacic in these areas. Gvardiol would go forward, and then Foden would come inside. Now, of course, City are going to rotate a lot. This shape is going to change a lot during the game, but this is kind of roughly what they were going for. The important thing is, United, look how central and compact we are. If we quickly kind of select this United area, look how compact it is. Look how many United players there are in that area compared to City. And you can see that the only option City really had in these situations was to play the ball wide. The space was out wide for City. It was not in the middle of the pitch. And that is a crucial thing for United to do in this game. This is what won us the game. Having the middle of the pitch compact. If we were open in the middle, De Bruyne would have been on the ball. Phil Foden would have been on the ball. Bernardo Silva would have drifted inside. Whoever. They've got quality players. Because we were so compact in the middle of the pitch, and the players have said since the game this was the plan, we forced City wide in the first half. And this is where Eric got one up on Pep Guardiola. Eric got one up on him. Because we have seen in recent weeks that City have used Gvardiol going forward down the left-hand side, overlapping into the final third. And I actually always have an issue with fullbacks providing the width, because what we saw was that, as I've said already, United were nice and compact in their shape. Basically, we're inviting City to play the ball wide. So Kovacic might have it here. You're not going to go infield, mate. If you want to move the ball forward, you're going to go wide. And that was the trigger then for United to be a bit more aggressive. So as the ball goes wide to Gvardiol, we're going to see our fullback, Wan-Bissaka, be aggressive on him. Move towards him, and this is the cue for the whole team to come over as well. Get over to one side of the pitch, make it nice and compact, and again, limit City's ability to play. And this is where, for me, Eric got one over Pep. He knew Gvardiol was going to play this game. If it had been Doku, for example, playing on the left-hand side in this game, he would have held the width in a very different way. His first touch would have been aggressive and at Wan-Bissaka, and forced Wan-Bissaka back, as we eventually saw in the game, right? But in the first half, United won this battle because as the ball would come over to Gvardiol, this was the cue for Wan-Bissaka to become aggressive, Varane to shift across, Lisandro Martinez, Dalot, the whole defence shifts across, we stay really compact and we stop City playing through the team. Now Guardiola, halfway through the first half, did make a slight adjustment to his shape, and again it's just naturally how his side rotates. What he started to do was move to more of a back three. Walker would tuck in from right centre-back, Stones is now going to play a bit more central as a centre-back, and Nathan Ake is going to go to the left side of defence. Now, the aim of this was to pull our defence about a little bit. Basically, our defensive structure, to try and stop us being so compact. Rashford, whereas previously he was quite close to Walker up here, Walker is now coming deeper. And the effect of this, for City, is that Rashford just gets dragged a little bit. Now, this, of course, has a knock-on effect further. If we move the ball over to this side of the pitch, there's a further knock-on effect, because now as De Bruyne moves wide, Kobbie Mainoo also has to move wide. And this opens up a space for Haaland. Haaland can drop into these areas, get on the ball, turn and hurt United. So you would think, or on paper he could, but we had a man back available for this game, going by the name of Lisandro Martinez, also known as the Butcher. And to be honest, it's the right name for him, because any time this ball went anywhere near Haaland, Licha was there straight into him. He may be 4'2", but I tell you what, he's strong in a tackle. He is very, very good in a tackle, and every time the ball went into Haaland, Licha was there to crunch him. So City's kind of new changed shape to try and hurt United, draw players out, still actually didn't work that well because of Lisandro Martinez and because of the fact that United were willing to move into different areas to, again, keep the compact defensive shape. Rather than letting this space be open, keep players close to each other. It worked really well. Now, as you would expect, City weren't finished there. They still had more attacking ideas, more attacking patterns and rotations pre-planned to try and hurt United. But again, United had the answer to those kind of questions most of the time. So what is this next question City going to ask? It's when the likes of Rodri, the likes of Stones, Kovacic are going to switch the ball a little bit quicker, get the ball wider, quicker. So United don't have that time to lock on and be aggressive. They're going to go quick with it. So the ball's going to go out to Kovacic. From Kovacic out to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva's going to receive the ball, and of course this is the cue for Dalot to go across and be aggressive. We've already seen that. The problem that United had from here was the gap it opens up in this area between the fullback and the centre-back, particularly as Kevin De Bruyne is now going to make a run in behind. This is a big, big problem for United. A big, big problem, because we've been overloaded. City have created, if we quickly move Foden, City have created, granted we'd be more compact, but a 5 versus 4 across the front line in the favour of City. Tactically, this is very, very good from Pep. It's really going to hurt United. But, again, most of the time, granted there was an occasion we switched off, but most of the time we had the answer to this as well. And that was for Kobbie Mainoo, at times in this game, to play in a back 5. Following De Bruyne or eventually Julian Alvarez all the way into these deeper positions. Kobbie Mainoo was dropping all the way into a back 5, again to shore up the defence. Now this had the benefit for City of then we had less players in midfield. So now Rodri could go forward, or Kovacic could go forward, and City could recycle the ball into this area. You know, take that Kobbie Mainoo space. But because United were so dogged and determined and so close to each other and really, again, fighting for each other, it allowed United to get players close to this area of the pitch. Now, at times, let's be honest, it did mean we were parking the bus. It wasn't attractive from us, you know, but it was very, very effective. We completely nullified the opportunity for City to get forward and hurt us. And because we were so compact, because we were so solid defensively, City had to take risks to try and break us down. You know, this back 3. They have to take risks on the ball. They have to try and be expressive. At times, they're forcing passes into these areas. But because we've got so many players in the middle of the pitch, we have the potential always in this game to transition. And that was the game plan. I said it in my preview before the game. We'd done a live stream. And I said the key for United is to stay in this game, stay narrow, compact, and I used the term as use cheating wingers. Wingers which defensively pull into, a fairly deep position, but they're not actually there to make tackles. They're there to get behind the ball, yes. But then the second possession is won, they're actually there really to attack space. Use this kind of defensive position as a springboard to then move forward. And of course we saw that for both the goals. United's ability to transition was ultimately what won us the game. But it wasn't just long ball football. These transitions weren't, Dalot wins the ball back, pumps it over to Garnacho. Yes, it happens for the first goal, but there's more to it, which we'll break down shortly. The second goal as well, Kobbie Mainoo ends up putting it in the back of the net. But it wasn't long ball football, it was transitional. But it had a very, very key element to it. Retention. It was a retention-based transition. To draw City onto us, and then to attack the space in behind. And that's genius. So we'll come on to that in a second. To quickly finish off on the defensive side, we've just got to say fair play. Yes, it wasn't, ideal, because it was pretty dull football at times, right? We didn't make it the most entertaining games in these stages, but Erik ten Hag got his players into the perfect positions to nullify the threat of City. We knew that Gvardiol was going to be their wide outlet on the left. I've criticised Pep for this most of the season. This is why, because against Wan-Bissaka he couldn't really do anything. Granted, yes, Pep eventually changed things, right? We eventually saw changes. We saw Bernardo come inside, Doku came on, and we saw that shift around. And of course that had a big effect in the second half. It really changed the game in the second half, the sort of football match we were seeing, because now we had Doku against Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka wasn't so aggressive, Doku would back Wan-Bissaka up. It changed it to a different game, and that's why City became more dominant. But still, United were compact enough. We were busy. We had lots of players in front of goal. Criticism for Onana for the goal, I'm not sure what he's doing, it's poor. But in general, defensively, United were absolutely brilliant. But I do quickly want to touch on the 2 goals. Because, let's be honest, in possession, it wasn't great from United. We were very deep, we tried to play out from the back on a couple of occasions, but we tended to end up going long. A few decent patterns, but I don't want to talk about that today, simply because I'm feeling ill, to be honest, and I haven't got time for it. But what I do have time for is these 2 goals. The 2 goals from United, because it looks like counter-attacking football. And I dare say, angry City fans will be saying we played long ball football, transitional football. But again, the key is that we had retention in the middle of it all. In Sofian Amrabat, in Kobbie Mainoo. 2 players who have been key in the past couple of weeks for their ability to keep the ball. And then also Bruno Fernandes as well, a player who is known for probably playing forward a bit too quickly at times. It was decisions on the ball. They were absolutely brilliant. We took extra touches to draw these City players towards us. So we've got City have just lost possession here, and United have won it back with Sofian Amrabat. Now Amrabat quickly has the opportunity to play forward. He could go into defeat of Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes is screaming for it. We can also see Rashford is in behind Kyle Walker. So we could quickly go forward. And if you think kind of our problems all season long is that we've probably done this a bit too quickly. Casemiro at times in midfield, Bruno Fernandes as well. We've been too direct, too quick, made it a more difficult pass for ourselves and lost possession. Not in this game. In this game, we had the art of taking the extra touch. Amrabat, you can see Bruno's actually a little bit annoyed over here at this point. But we're still taking the extra touch. Another touch from Amrabat. Now, why is he taking all of these touches? What does it actually do? Because Rashford's in behind. Surely he could poke this ball through. He could, but it's not a guaranteed pass. What he does do, though, what he does guarantee is that he moves City players out of position. Because by the time Sofian Amrabat takes his next touch, look at the players he's drawing towards him. Kyle Walker is changing direction. We can see he's shifted his balance here. Rodri is engaged towards the ball. Bernardo Silva is engaged towards the ball. Now, if we look at this little bit of space which is starting to form, for Bruno Fernandes to operate in, this is what Amrabat is doing the whole time. And we're going to come back to this because this is still important for the goal. So Amrabat then eventually takes one more touch wide and plays the ball backwards towards Dalot. We can see he's drawn 4 City players towards him. And Dalot, yeah, it's just a long ball, right? It's just a long ball. Nothing much to this. But actually, Amrabat's extra touches and Bruno Fernandes' movements still have a part to play, even though we don't go near the ball again. Because as Dalot plays this long ball, I want you to look at something. Look at the space for Bruno Fernandes in this area. Now, the reason all the space is here is because if we quickly grab Sofian Amrabat again, this man down here, Sofian Amrabat, took 7 touches, probably more than he needed, to draw City players onto him. And by drawing City players onto him, they are all now out of position. They are all far too high up the pitch, and that leaves Bruno Fernandes in space. Now, because Bruno Fernandes is in space, Aki can't leave him alone. He can't leave him in that space by himself because it's a very, very dangerous area. So Aki, we can see, has, yes, now started to retreat, but just before that, he had locked onto Bruno Fernandes in the centre. And as you'll see, as the ball eventually comes through, Aki is behind. He is not with his defence, and that's because Bruno Fernandes has drawn him out. How has Bruno Fernandes drawn him out? By finding space. How has he found space? Because Amrabat took extra touches. It's much more than just a long ball forward. Granted, yes, we eventually get a little bit of luck with whatever City do, but it's impressive. It's very, very intelligent. It's the same for this one as well. United are on the counter-attack. Bruno Fernandes has the ball. City just had it. We've won it back. Bruno Fernandes gets on the ball. Now again, he could quickly play forward if he wants to, right? There are options. He could be quick. We know what Bruno's like. But instead he takes extra touches. He draws Kovacic onto him before turning him. See you later, Kovacic, mate. And then popping the ball off to Kobbie Mainoo. Now, Kobbie Mainoo has a similar situation. If Kobbie Mainoo wanted to, he could quickly release his ball forward. Garnacho not even in shot, by the way, because he's that high up the pitch. Kobbie Mainoo could have got on the turn and looked to play in that direction. But again, we chose not to. Instead, we play the ball to Marcus Rashford. Now, what I want you to notice is Kyle Walker's positioning. Kyle Walker is miles off, absolutely miles off Marcus Rashford. The question is why? Well, because Rashford's been playing psychological warfare for the first 40 minutes. Every time Rashford's been anywhere near possession play, he's gone in behind. And Kyle Walker's been caught out a couple of occasions already. So this time Walker goes, no, not today, mate. You're not getting in behind me. I'm going to drop off. I'm going to give myself a head start. You are not getting behind this defence. Rashford goes, all right, mate, I don't need to. Because Rashford gets the ball and has all the time in the world to get his head up and pick this pass. And I've seen question marks before the game. Why is Rashford playing? Why is Garnacho starting over Ahmad? Ahmad's in great form. This is why. Because Rashford is our only winger which can play this pass with this drive on it, this speed on it. Rashford is the only one. But also Garnacho is our best running right winger. Yes, Ahmad is cute coming into tight spaces, but running into big open spaces, Garnacho is your man. And we see the effect of that for this goal. Again, Rashford really deserves a lot of credit for this switch. A lot of credit for this switch. Also, just keep an eye on the City centre-backs. Because as they're chilling here, you will notice, and again we spoke about this during the stream before kickoff, they've got no one to mark. They have literally no one to mark. The ball goes over to Garnacho on the far side. Garnacho starts to come inside into Bruno, who, look where he is. Look where our boy Bruno Fernandes is. He is between the defence and the midfield with all the time in the world. The two centre-backs are marking no one. The City midfield is nowhere to be seen. Goes to Bruno. It's genius. The coverage of the game I was watching actually spoke about his scanning before it really well. Check that out. But it allows Bruno to find Kobe Mainoo, and we can see again the City centre-backs aren't marking anyone. It's difficult. When you play against this sort of false nine, it's difficult to not have a strict player you're playing up against. The ball goes to Kobe Mainoo, and I mean, the rest, as they say, is history. And Manchester United, oh, that's not the picture I was looking for, but there we go, we won the cup. And what a way to end the season. Again, we didn't have possession play, right? We weren't looking to play out from the back all the time and build through the thirds and force City to defend deep and break them down. That was never the plan for this game. It was to defend deep, compact, centrally, and then play in transition. And we done it perfectly. The team selection, for me, was literally perfect. It's the team I wanted before the game, and I think you kind of saw why. I think Erik ten Hag got it literally spot on. And then tactically, the ability to condense the spaces while still having that transitioning threat was absolutely brilliant, and it's why I think United deserved the win. Because we reduced City's chances, and we created chances, and certainly threat and opportunities for ourselves. I could go through all the players individually, speak about which ones were brilliant. I think Amrabat deserves a lot of credit. I think McTominay deserves a lot of credit. Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez, all of them. Every single player was just quality. They all played a huge, huge part in this game. I could talk about this game for the next half hour, really. I really could, because individually our players were that good, and then we were put in a system which took 11 very good individuals on the day and put them close to each other and allowed them to express themselves in possession, but be compact out with possession. That's brilliant management and also brilliant player execution. You can't ask for more than that. That's how you win a cup final. So, yeah, I mean, mainstream media doesn't seem too happy that we won. You know, the first talk is always Ten Hag sacked. That's what happens when you are Manchester United. They can hate us. They can adore us. But they find it impossible to ignore us. That's Manchester United, ladies and gentlemen. United!